Hello. It is about 11:49 a.m. and I am about an hour off schedule today, but I am up on the earlier side. I woke up around 10 a.m. and started off my day with meditation slash visualizations, and I'll admit that I'm trying to get myself into meditating and visualizing in the morning, and it's been tough because I don't really like waking up, especially when I have something immediately to do during the day like I do today. And I think like I'll turn them on as kind of like an excuse to lie in bed longer. So the habit I'm trying to break right now is to not lie down while I meditate or visualize in the morning. That works very well at night when you're falling asleep, but when you're trying to wake up, probably spent like almost 45 minutes listening to different visualizations and meditations and falling in and out of sleep. So I'll admit that that's something I'm working on. But part of making changes is taking this little step. So my practice of at least listening to them, I feel like I'm steering myself towards the right direction. After that, I had my usual feeling of feeling eager to start the day. I actually really like Mondays because I get a flood of messages, emails, like anything that has been paused for the weekend. So I really enjoy reading my emails on Monday mornings, and I always enjoy going through and checking up on social media and YouTube, especially for this channel lately. But I will tell you that my day got off to an interesting start because of YouTube comments, and I'm actually looking forward to talking about this today. So I was on my phone. On my phone I have an app for YouTube where I can scroll through and read comments and all of that, and you guys have been tremendously supportive. It's been awesome. And I came across one comment that was very different from what I've been receiving lately, and I think it's different in a way that is worth addressing. So this is from Clear a Path, I'm Going Home, who I don't think has ever commented on my channel. I actually did a search, and this seems like the only time this person has ever commented before. And the comment said, "So you asked why people give you a thumbs down that you want to know so you can possibly improve. I'll tell you my opinion. You come off as very bossy at times." And then in quotes it says, "Pay attention to this video. You have to watch this. You have to do this, do that. You do this often during your videos, sometimes more than others. It's off-putting. So in my opinion, I'm trying to give you some constructive criticism because I feel like this is something you may want to work on and improve. Break the habit. Cheers." And then underneath that, this is on yesterday's video where I actually got more thumbs down on that video than ever. So I kind of feel tempted to go watch that again. I'm like, wow, why did this video turn off so many people? But I don't know if that's good for me to do that. But anyways, and this same user said, "P.S. Throwing the paper fortunes back on the floor after picking them up to read wasn't cool either. You could have thrown them out, just saying." I'll address that one separately, but I thought that was a funny P.S. Underneath that, Shannon F27, who comments pretty frequently, thank you, Shannon, said, "I have to agree with this. I really like Whitney. I think in person she must be a delight and a great friend, but I often find myself annoyed when she goes into the slightly degrading feeling bossy mode. Again, I think this may be something that comes across much less harsh in person, but in videos it seems like she's annoyed at her viewers for not wanting to click on everything or not wanting to engage in every way." And then Rachel W. commented, "I actually don't get this vibe from Whitney at all. One of the things I appreciate most about her is how laid back she is when it comes to her recommendations or even things she's enthusiastic about. I always see her as being super excited to share experiences, but in no way pushy or bossy." That's my take anyways. So, I wanted to address this because, of course this elicited some feelings in me. And I think that this is good insight into who I am, meaning like I want to explain some things about myself, but it's also, I feel like there's a lot of things I want to say about this. I almost thought I would scrap the vlog or do like an additional separate video today. Maybe I will, because I think this topic is just very interesting. So if you want to hear more about this, I don't know how long I'll talk for, I would be happy to talk more. because I bet you that more thoughts will come to me. It's only been like an hour since I read that. But number one, I'm actually really grateful for feedback. I asked for it, and when you get thumbs downs, a number of you have we've talked about this so much, and most people say, don't worry about the thumbs down, they're about jealousy. Don't worry about the thumbs down, they're just random people passing by. Don't worry about the thumbs down, those are just people that are committed to giving a thumbs down because it makes them feel good, or because they want to be the first one to do it, or because they don't like you at all and they're just giving a thumbs down in everything that you do. I think those could certainly be valid reasons for thumbs downs. Who knows? It's irritating to me as someone who likes to analyze and optimize, because I want to make this experience good for each of you. But I also have to pay attention to the fact that the majority of the comments and the majority of the thumbs are ups. The majority of comments are very positive. And to me, the people that give those positive comments and those thumbs ups are the reason that I do these videos. But it's just interesting. There seems to be people that are watching every video or thumbing down on each video, and there's a trend there, and so part of me just wonders about these people. I don't know if Clear a Path I'm Going Home is one of them, or if this person is just giving feedback there. But I do want to address this Bossy thing, because I sat there after I read this comment and I thought, wow, am I bossy? Because I'm trying to think if people have ever told me that on YouTube before, and in my mind, I can't recollect a time when someone said that. So it's always interesting when someone gives you feedback that you don't hear regularly. And so you got to take things like that with a grain of salt, because everybody has a bit of a different opinion and a different way of looking at things. And I was going through my brain thinking, like, all right, do people give me that feedback enough where this is something that I might want to work on? And the first thing that came to mind is the control thing. So I think being bossy and being controlling can go hand in hand, right? And that's something that I've gotten feedback on a number of times in my life. And I feel like it's something that I would like to work on. I've been slowly trying to work on it. But now, after reading this, I feel like it's brought up a part of me that's like, all right, like I would like to work on coming across less controlling. And so examples of that is like, I get very excited about doing things. And to Rachel's comment here, I have this desire to want to get people on board with things. So oftentimes when I really want to do something and I really want somebody to do something with me, or I really want to encourage somebody to do something because I think it'd be good for them or something like that, I'll be pushy. I think pushy is a word that I've received more than bossy. And some people enjoy that. I do coaching and all of that. And so in a coaching environment, most people are cool with being pushed. Not everybody enjoys it, but they'll usually be thankful for it at some point if it's really going in the right direction for them, or they'll just kindly say, hey, I don't feel comfortable with that, and that's where it's easy to stop, right? It's different on YouTube, right? Because you're not getting feedback back and forth like you would in person in a live setting. So that's why I'm kind of tempted to go back and watch this video, because I don't even know where I came across as bossy. But anyways, going back to the control thing, that's something that's come up a number of times in my life. I have very close friends of mine, or men that I've dated in the past, that have brought this up. And it's kind of like one of those things where they're like, you do that sometimes, and I don't like it when you do that. They don't, to my knowledge, define me as being a controlling person. And I definitely acknowledge and admit that I can be that way sometimes. And, I think collectively, hearing all this feedback, I would like to work on that, because I don't want people to feel like I'm trying to control them or push them around or boss them around. That's who wants to feel that way, right? We all want to have that free will. We want to feel like we don't want to feel like there's a hierarchy, right? And maybe that's why this is coming up. It's never my intention to have a hierarchy. As a coach, or when I'm in a leadership position, it's a little bit different, right? But my aim with anything is really to help lead people, to steer them in the right direction, not to be like, I'm better than you, or I know better than you. I'm also very sensitive to this, because I grew up with a mother that I found was very controlling, and a lot of my emotional issues stem from our relationship, as many of you might be able to relate to with a mother or a parent or any sort of authority figure. And you know, it's interesting when you see the qualities of that same person show up in yourself, and I think that is something to address there, is like if we really go back and evaluate why we are where we are right now in our lives and what made us who we are. And my mother definitely influenced that. You know, we model ourselves after our parents. And so I grew up simultaneously seeing the main woman in my life being a controlling person. So naturally you start to model that, but also being very hurt by that control. And you know, I think there's that interesting balance where I don't want to be controlling in return. So reading a comment like this feels a little hurtful because I'm like, oh no, I don't want to give off that feeling to somebody else. So it's a sensitive thing, right? But then there's also the thing where we have to keep in mind that our perceptions of other people are based on all of our unique experiences in life. So each one of you is experiencing me and what I say and what I do in your own unique way. And you're experiencing that because of what your life has been like. So it's very possible that Clear Path, I'm Going Home could have also been raised with a controlling parent or a controlling authority figure in their life and felt very sensitive to that, just like I do when people try to control me. It's possible that something else happened in this person's life where they got easily turned off when someone was controlling, pushy, or bossy. And that's where there's a simultaneous thing where I want to take responsibility for who I am, but as viewers, not users, usernames is what I was trying to say, but you know, as people watching and all of that, we also have to take responsibility and reflect and say, why is this person triggering me in this way? What happened in my own life that is giving me this experience? Because I'll tell you, Clear Path, I'm Going Home specifically, and everyone else out there, it is not my intention to be bossy. When I say things like, pay attention to this video, it's because I want you guys to check out the other stuff that I'm doing, because I'm excited about it and I think you might enjoy it. When I say you have to watch this, I'm not saying you have to watch this. I'm saying this is great. You should go check this out because I'm excited and I think you're gonna like it, right? When I say you have to do that, I don't mean, if I literally say you have to do this, what I mean is I really think that you would enjoy this, or I'm really encouraging you to check this out because, again, I'm excited about it and I think you will be too, on and on and on. Whenever I say those things, you got to take it with a grain of salt, I think. That's what my intention is because I'm really it's an enthusiastic thing. I'm really not trying to boss any of you guys around. And I don't know. I mean, you guys can give me feedback if you'd like, if there's anything that you think I could tweak. But there's also, it comes to a point, especially on YouTube, and this is really hard for me, is that you get feedback and you sit there thinking, if I went through and analyzed everything that I did, I would become more of a polished machine and less of a human being. And the whole point of this Uncensored channel is to be my real self and be free. And so if part of me is controlling and bossy, I do want to work on that, but that's also who I am right now. And if I try to hide that or shape that or edit that, then I'm not really being myself. Does that make sense? And so it's that interesting thing about personal development where you have to say how much of myself is changing for other people and how much of myself is changing for me. I think you have to start with changing for yourself, and that's where the real sustainable changes happen. And you change for other people when it feels like there's maybe you're hurting them too much, right? Like I never want to hurt anybody, so if I'm hurting this one person, I wouldn't want to do that. But I also don't have a relationship with Clear Path, I'm Going Home. If this is the first comment this person's ever written, there's literally no relationship there, not to mention the fact that I never met this person. So you kind of have to sit there and go like, well, at what cost do I make these changes? That makes sense. Whereas, people that comment more frequently, I have more relationship with them, and I feel a little bit more inclined to adjust. I'm not trying to say that people that don't comment or that I don't know don't matter. I'm trying to say, like, it's important to build a relationship and put context into it. Because if we tried to change everything about ourselves for every person that didn't like it, who would we be? And I think that's where I've really, really struggled online. I think that's where my social anxiety comes from, is that I, have this desire to please everybody. But the truth is that I don't think you can. And so it's that ongoing question of, when do you change? Why do you change? Who do you change for? It's an interesting topic, which is why I wanted to address it here. Because I don't know if I know the answer to that. I spend so much time reading personal development books. And I think the other thing here that I'll bring up because of the personal development books is that I'm trying to figure out who I am. Like who I really am. Last night I started reading this book by Wayne Dyer. Forget which one it's called. He has so many. And it's fantastic. I'm also been browsing through that Fear Cure book. I like to switch off and on between books. And I had these moments where I thought, wow, like I don't know if I know who I really am right now because of so many layers that have been covered up over time. And I find this is very common. When we are children, we're at a certain stage where we're very pure. And we're at this like, almost like angelic element of like, we haven't really been affected by the world, shaped by the world yet. That's where like we really are our true selves. Now we have a lot of development to make, but as development happens, we start to be influenced by life events and other people. And those people contribute to who we become. But there's also a certain part of us that becomes too much shaped by those experiences, too much shaped by those people, where parts of us gets covered up. And so there's that balancing act of like maintaining who you really are at your core and not getting too covered up by what other people say about you, what other people say you should be doing, who you should be. And I know that a lot of me is covered up, and it's very painful. It's painful because I want to find out who I am at that core, and it's so hard. That's why I spend so much time talking and making these videos. That's why this whole channel exists. That's why I read my personal development. This is why I like to analyze. It's because I'm trying to filter out who I am versus who other people want me to be that doesn't really feel in alignment with who I am. And I know sometimes it comes across like, why do you care so much about what people think? I care because it's that filtering process. I care because it's always like, does this person have a clue into who I really am, right? Are they like an actual clue, like a Sherlock Holmes clue? Like, are they offering me a clue, insight into who I am? And so when I read a comment like this, it does hurt because of my past experiences and feedback that I've had, but it's also like, is this a clue? I know that I'm not bossy and controlling at my core. I don't think anybody really is. I think our actions of being bossy or controlling are just that, like we're looking for control. I think that we do those things because we want people to be on board. We don't want to be alone. If a lot of people do what we do, then that makes us feel secure that we're doing the right thing, right? If we can convince people to come along with us and live the way that we do or make the same decisions, it feels very good. It feels like we're part of a group. That's a very instinctual human behavior, is that we want to be in groups, right? And I think it's also instinctual to be hurt by rejection and afraid of rejection because we don't want to be alone. So all of this is very interesting, and I think that all of this is just, wow, it's been 19 minutes. Okay, this is definitely not going to be a vlog. It's going to be something separate. I'll make you a separate vlog, I promise. I guess I should have turned on my other camera, but here we are. This brings up a lot for me, and it's not about giving weight to the specific comment or the specific person. It's easier said than done to just ignore it. I think that sometimes when these comments come up, and they trigger us in a certain way, they're worth examining and looking at the bigger picture of what this means for us. And I'm very grateful for this comment. I don't know if I'll ever hear from Clear Path, I'm going home again. I don't know if this person's been watching my channel or just, I don't know. I have no insight into this person aside from this comment. I will address the fortune cookie comment. I don't know if Clear Path is still watching or if any of you are interested, but my mentality in putting the fortunes back on the ground in that video is because I wanted other people to read the fortunes, not that I wanted to waste paper. I wasn't trying to litter. I'm very eco-conscious. I just thought it was a magical thing to come across fortunes. And I thought maybe that's why they were there in the first place. Maybe I was wrong. It's all about our perception, right? One person thinks you're littering, another person says, oh, that was really kind. They wanted to share the fortunes with somebody. It's all perception, guys, right? Like, that's why we always had to take comments and constructive criticism and non-constructive criticism with such a grain of salt. But we also have to use them as part of our filter and becoming the best person that we can be. And I'm committed to that. So I really, truly apologize if I come across bossy or controlling. I'm definitely willing to work on that. I might be a little hypercritical of myself in my upcoming vlogs. I think that's helpful, because I didn't realize I was coming across that way, so I'll pay a little bit more attention. But, you know, I know that my intention was not to be that way, so I think the majority of you know that about me. And maybe this channel isn't ideal for Clear Path. I think that Shannon F27 really enjoys this channel, and I've read a number of her comments, so you always gotta weigh out. Like, it's kind of like having a friend. Like, most of the time your friends are gonna be like cheering for you, and sometimes your friends are gonna be like, hey, can I give you some feedback? Like, you know, and I think that is true friendship. And I think that's what I was trying to get at before too, is like, I've never heard from Clear Path, and 2 comments, seems like this person's pretty critical, but I have no grand scheme of who this person is. Whereas Shannon, I've heard a lot from you. I can paint the whole picture of who you are through your comments. And so my interpretation of your comment in this case is a little bit different. And I think that's where a true friend is. So anyways, it's an interesting start to my day. I need to go get ready to record a video. As I said, I'm behind. Very curious about your feedback. There will be a vlog from today, but I'm going to upload this video now. A little nervous about comments, I'll admit, but lots of deep breaths and lots of patience and lots of self-love are what helps me through this. And I want to send love to all of you guys for being part of my journey. It is extremely hard to be vulnerable and be your real authentic self, partially because of feedback like this. There's part of you that goes, oh shoot, a bad part of me has been revealed, I better hide. And I think the real courage is when people say things like this, is to really think about them, to just consider how you're gonna deal with them, and then move forward and say, you know what, I came across bossy, but I'm moving forward and I'll do my best next time. And not to be so afraid of yourself and revealing yourself because a few people didn't like who you were on that day, right? Like, we all have those days and those moments where we don't show our best selves and we do things that are different from the way that we intended them. And so, you know, I hope that for those of you who are looking for key takeaways here, it's like, every once in a while, we're either going to screw up or we're going to be misinterpreted. And we got to just keep moving and adjusting and being who we are. I think the biggest mistake that we can make, and I've done this many times myself, is to take things too seriously, put too much weight on them, and want to hide from ourselves and want to hide from other people because we're afraid of experiencing that hurt again. So what I'm really trying to do with all my work is to move through that pain, to use it as healing in some way, to use it as a lesson, and to keep moving forward. That's where progress happens. That's how we become the best people that we can, and that's how we lead by example and encourage other people to do the same. So, thanks guys. I love you so much. Love to everybody, even the thumbs downs, even the people that leave constructive criticism like this. That might be hard to take sometimes. I really, really do love and appreciate all of you, you know. Just because something hurts doesn't mean that there isn't love there back. Okay, well, I will see you in today's vlog and upcoming videos. I've got a lot to do, so I'm gonna shut the phone off now after 25 minutes. Bye, everyone.